See you again.
Good to see you. Okay, welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another hour of English classes here on Verbling.com. In this hour, we're going to be reading an article, and I put the article up in the Verbling chat already, so people can go there and open it up. And just let me tell you, if you have a reservation, you can use it now and join the class. And if you do not have a reservation, but you are a Verbling member, then you can join the class anytime. Each class is 1 hour long, and you can join at any time you want. If you have to leave early, that's okay too. It's pretty loose. It really depends on how you want to use this service. Also, if you are just finding Verbling, trying it for the first time, and you're trying to understand how it works, we have classes every hour. Sometimes we have 2 or 3 English classes going on at the same time, depending on the day and the time. And right now, Verbling.com is doing a special discount, so 20% off everything. So if you want to become a member, or you want to do some tutoring sessions one-on-one with one of the teachers, you can do that. So now's a good time to try it out. And so welcome to Nihan as well. Hi, Nihan.
Hi, Lisa.
How are you?
I'm fine, but when I saw the topic,
uh-oh.
much better.
Oh, good. Okay. Good. Well, I was taking your suggestion about keeping it light on the weekends. So.
Yes.
And also, it's light and it's interesting at the same time. So this movie that's coming up, it's going to come out pretty soon. So it's kind of an interesting thing, especially in the light of some of the conversations we've been having, mostly with you guys. I've been having with a lot of the same students, about money, corruption, that kind of stuff, what's happening these days with that. So we'll talk about that. We'll read and we'll talk and we'll go into the next hour also.
Okay.
So, all right. And hi there, Raphael.
Hi.
Hey, Raphael, I was thinking about you earlier because I was running around the track.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, so I usually go walking, but lately since talking to you, I'm trying to walk, so run a little bit, walk a little bit, run a little bit, something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's fun. It's funny because when I was younger, when I was 12, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, I used to run cross country and track. So, I used to be a runner, actually, when I was very young, and I haven't I didn't run at all, really, as an adult, but I don't know if I really want to run a lot, but we'll see. It's, if it's fun and it's good, then I'll keep doing it, so it feels good.
I'm glad to hear that. Just now, you had to convince Niha to start doing the same.
Nihan. She's not too interested in the running, right, Nihan?
Actually, the same story as me, Lisa.
Oh,
when
really?
I was young, I'm a cyclist and professional cyclist.
Wow, cool.
In university.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have huge muscles on my legs, but when you maybe I satisfy with the sport, but Raphael is right. Yeah, it's necessary, but Raphael, it's really hard. Only at weekends. Yeah, when you just start, it comes. But
the worst is
starting is really hard thing. Yeah.
The hardest thing is to start. Since you start, you start feeling the difference. You won't stop again. You won't stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because I was noticing also about running is when I first start walking, it's fine. And then I start running, and even if I just start running about a minute or a little bit more than a minute, already my legs are hurting. But then I keep walking, and then the next time I start running again, it feels better. So for a little while there, the more I'm running, I'm feeling actually better. and then I get to the point where I'm getting tired. So then I, but it's kind of weird because it takes a little while to get into it. You know, it's like in the beginning you're like, ugh, why am I doing this?
The doctors suggest if you are hurting, you have to stop for 3 or 4 days. Then you need to start again.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to force your muscles.
Yes.
In the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it's hurting or just more like just sore because they're so out of shape.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's not pain.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. Which is so weird because when I was younger, it was so easy to run, you know, like a mile, you know, like four laps around the track or something. So easy. Now it's like, ugh, seems so difficult.
No, Lisa, you're not old. 40s are young.
I'm not old, just my body.
I am tired about to listen.
Yeah.
I really tired about only to read. I make me tired.
Makes you tired just listening to talk about running. Antonio, do you run or do you do any sports?
In my bedroom.
In your bedroom?
Yeah.
On the computer?
You
work with fingers?
I imagine I run is very, I feel me tired about.
Yeah. Well, you have all those books to read, all the classics that you're reading.
Raphael, you have to encourage us, both of us.
Yeah, Raphael, you have to motivate us.
Okay.
Raphael, when you run, do you listen to music or do you just run?
No, I always listen to music. It's I'm addicted to listen to music when I run. I don't know. It's something. I know. I just I like to run with a rhythm. You know, I think it's smart. It's motivates. You know, it's good motivation. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that would probably help me too. Yeah. I'm wondering if you. I'm gonna put it on the screen share, and I have the article too, ready to go here. But did you read this book? This book came out a couple years ago. It was pretty popular here. It got everybody into running. Called Born to Run. Have you heard of that one, Raphael?
No, I haven't heard. I'll look for it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a good story too. The guy who wrote it, but he goes down to Mexico and there's like, it's kind of about these big long running races that are like 100 miles long. And the runners that run, they're like super athletes, and then the people who, you know, there's the Americans who and other people from other countries who train, and then there's these people that are in Mexico. It's just they like run all the time, you know. So it's interesting, but cool. All right, so let's read about the latest Scorsese film, which let me put up here first. You get to see a little picture. That interestingly, the reviews are just starting to come out. They weren't letting the reviews come out yet because I don't think it's actually out yet, the movie. It's supposed to come out like on Christmas, I think. I'm not 100% sure of that, but that's what I think. So anyways, it stars Leonardo DiCaprio, and I also read a brief article the other day that said this this might be one of the last Scorsese films, because I think he's in his 70s now, and he just wants, you know, he might not make many more films. So maybe that's why he chose this one, to make it so extravagant. Because when you watch the trailer, it looks very, very expensive. And yes, exorbitant. So let's go to the article. So, Big Bad Wolf, Martin Scorsese's latest, is a showpiece of wicked cinematic exorbitance. Leonardo DiCaprio as real-life Long Island conman Jordan Belfort. Okay, so let me just go over the title first, because that's always tells you a lot of times. So it's his latest, is a showpiece. So a showpiece is, it's like a, it is showing you all of this stuff. It's wicked, cinematic, exorbitance. So wicked here means, it's not like, doesn't mean bad or evil. It means like, kind of like awesome. If something is called wicked, it means awesome. So it's like awesome movie, like over the top, like so, like just too much. He kind of just, as you can tell from that picture that we just saw, it was a very expensive movie, and one of the reasons why was because it had big, huge scenes with lots of people, lots of, not really costumes, but the clothes that they're wearing, and the stuff that happens. It's just like everything is like to the max. That's what it means to be exorbitant. Yeah, and then it's really about a real guy, this Long Island con man. So a con man is somebody who tricks people out of their money. He cons them out of their money. So it is based on a true story. All right, let's read about it. The Wolf of Wall Street has been awarded a nose-thumbing Bronx cheer by some critics as noisy, vulgar, flashy, disgusting, and over the top. The same reasons they adored the talented but self-indulgent Coen brothers inside Llewyn Davis, one of the dreariest, most pointless, and ludicrously overrated films of the year. Okay, it has all those things, not to mention nudity, violence, graphic sex, out-of-control drug use, and filthy dialogue. It is also sensational entertainment. Okay. Antonio, why don't you start?
Okay. The Wolf of Wall Street has been awarded a noisy thumbing,
yeah.
Thumbing.
Nose thumbing.
Bronx cheer by some critics as noisy, vulgar, flashy, disgusting, and over the top. The same reason they adored the talented but self-indulgent Coen brothers inside Llewyn Davis on the dreariest, most pointless, and ludicrously overrated films of the year. Okay, it has all those things. Don't mention nudity, violence, graphic sex, out of control drug use, and 50 dialogue. It's also sensational entertainment. Very good film. I wanted to see.
Sensational entertainment. Yes. Okay. So there's lots of words in here. So first of all, a nose-thumbing Bronx cheer. All right. So that is a very colloquial thing. So what that means is, I'm just going to show you what it means. So the nose-thumbing is when you put your thumb to your nose, and the Bronx cheer is when you go like that. So it's like, that's an expression. So it's giving like a thumbs down. What, Dehan?
Kind of cynical action or something?
Like, it's not good. Like, we don't like it. Like, it's not good. It's when you give it it's like giving it a thumbs down, but that's what he's saying it got by some critics. So that's the response that the movie got, or the what they said about it. So they basically gave it like, no, we don't like it. And these are all the reasons why some of the critics said they didn't like it. They said it was noisy, so from the trailer you can already see there's lots going on. It's very fast, a lot of things going on. It's vulgar. That means that a lot of cussing, a lot of bad words. The way that they're not just using cuss words, but the words, they're just kind of nasty probably. The way they talk to each other, the way they're joking around. It's not very polite. Flashy means, when you're looking at this picture here, you can see there's lots of partying going on, and so flashy means when you're showing things like a lot of money, a lot of nice stuff. It's very flashy. There's yachts, there's a lot of money involved in this movie. And it's disgusting. So some of the stuff they show might be just gross. Like, why Why do we even want to watch that? And ultimately, over the top. Over the top is a phrase that just means like too much. They just went like way beyond what was necessary. It's like over the top. It's just crazy, you know? So those are all the reasons why some of the critics don't like it. And then he puts it kind of this dash here because kind of in the side, you know, he's kind of saying these are the same reasons that other critics recently adored or loved the talented but self-indulgent Coen brothers. So Coen brothers are these other two directors. So here we have Martin Scorsese for this film, and then this other film, Inside Llewyn Davis, is another recent movie that just came out. And this particular critic, this person who wrote the article, he thinks that that movie was dreary. It was the dreariest, so that was kind of like when something is dreary, it's just kind of boring and very sad and kind of like you don't really feel it. It's not like a feel-good movie, so it's kind of just a lot of nothing happening and pointless. So there's no point to the movie. It's like, what is this about? And ludicrously overrated. So ludicrous means crazy. So he's thinking they just loved this other film so much, and he doesn't understand why, because there was nothing good about it. But he's admitting that yes, this movie, The Wolf of Wall Street, has all of these things, and not to mention, so that means here's even more things, includes even more things. Nudity, so people being naked, violence, graphic sex. So sometimes in a movie you might just have sex, like a sex scene, but if there's graphic sex, that means you really see a lot. You see a lot of what they're doing. So that's usually, you know, is more, it's like harder for American audiences to watch. And out of control drug use, so just crazy amounts of drugs, cocaine and things, and filthy dialogue. That's another word that is similar to vulgar. So filthy dialogue means when they're talking to each other, they're not being very nice. They're being very, very informal and very probably using a lot of cuss words and saying rude things about other people, probably this kind of thing. But he says in this last sentence of that paragraph, it is also sensational entertainment. So that tells you right there that this guy likes it. It's sensational. It's like cool, good, amazing. Okay, I just saw that Paul joined us. Hi, Paul. How are you?
Hello, how are you? Thanks. I entered in the
Welcome.
middle of the class, I'm sorry.
That's okay. We just started. This was the first paragraph, and so I was just explaining there's quite a lot going on in this first paragraph. But we're talking about, we're just reading one movie review of this new movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. So we're reading, a movie review, and so we're learning a little bit about what it's about, but there's also a lot of words in here that I'm going over. Nihan, did you say what is it rated? I'm sure it's rated R.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just checking. And nudity is 10 out of 10. For funny, 10 out of 10. I think it's a really, really tough movie.
Yeah, it wouldn't be probably a movie for like somebody who likes lightweight romantic comedies or so, something like that.
That movie is you can watch with your kids.
No, not for kids. No, not a kid movie. Yeah, you know, there's going to be a lot of dialogue, but you know, that's how it's about basically this one guy, but he has another close colleague who works with him, and I think a lot of the movie revolves around them. So, you know, you get two young guys on drugs and making a lot of money, there's going to be a lot of filthy dialogue, probably. All right, this $100 million extravaganza is, let's face it, rampantly over the top. Hell, it's by Martin Scorsese, who is always over the top. But unlike the Coen brothers, who have been getting away with murder for years, he puts thrilling stuff on the screen that is unforgettable. In good movies or bad, his never-ending collaborations with Leonardo DiCaprio and his last one, The Pretentious Shutter Island, was a real stinker. always fill the screen with something good to look at. This time, it's all true. Okay, Nihan.
This $100 million extravaganza is, let's face it, rampantly over the top. Hell, it's by Martin Scorsese, who is always over the top. But unlike the Coen brothers, who have been getting away with murder for years, he puts thrilling stuff on the screen that is unforgettable. In good movies or bad, his never-ending collaborations with Leonardo DiCaprio and his last one, the pretentious Shutter Island, was a real stinker. Always fill the screen with something good to look at. This time, it's all through.
So yeah, so this critic, I mean, every critic has their own opinions of directors and actors and everything. So, you know, he says here, it was $100 million extravaganza. Extravaganza is just like a big, like, party kind of thing, like a big, huge undertaking or event or something that you do in a very big way. That's what you call extravaganza. But he says, let's face it. So let's, you know, talk about the facts. It really is rampantly over the top. It's like uncontrollably over the top. It's excessive. You know, you could say it like that. But, you know, hell, it's by Martin. So that means, like, what do you expect, right? He's always over the top. And then this sentence here tells you what he thinks about the Coen brothers. So he says they have been getting away with murder. So that's the verbal structure there, for years. So this phrase right here means, you know, they've been, you know, a lot of critics have liked them, but that's what it means. To get away with murder means people believe you, even though you're telling a lie, maybe, or maybe they think you're doing something great when it's really not that great. So they're not very critical, he's saying, of the Coen brothers. But they're saying that at least Martin Scorsese, he puts actual really thrilling stuff. So thrilling would be like exciting. At least it's, I mean, it is entertainment. You know, it is a movie. It's not a documentary. So it's there to entertain you. And so that's what he's doing. He's creating something that is, you know, in this guy's mind, unforgettable. So, you know, something you will remember for a while. And then this, he just is talking about his never-ending collaboration. So Martin Scorsese has worked with Leonardo DiCaprio in a lot of movies, and the last one, I guess, was not a very good one. A stinker means like it wasn't good. So it stinks means like, you know, you hold your nose because it was so bad. So it wasn't very good. I don't know. Did you see that one, Nihan? Shutter Island?
Of course, I see.
And what did you think?
I rate 4 out of 10.
Okay, yeah.
It was a cliche. It wasn't really good.
Yeah, so the word pretentious here means when you try to make something more important than it really is. You know, so maybe, I don't know what Shutter Island was about, but maybe it was supposed to be this amazing thing, and it really wasn't very good. So that's what that means.
Yep.
All right, and this time, you know, the interesting thing is that the movie is true. It's not just for entertainment. It is telling a true story at the same time that it's being, you know, out over the top crazy. Terrence Winter's action-packed screenplay about the rise and fall of Jordan Belfort is based on the confessional memoir by the reckless multimillionaire stockbroker who served nearly 2 years in prison for defrauding high-profile investors in a Wall Street corruption scandal that included banking industry big shots and celebrities. A few bold-faced names have been changed to avoid litigation. Okay, Paul.
Yes.
Can you read that paragraph for us? Also, again, the same one I just read. You read.
Terrence Winter's action-packed screenplay about the rise and fall of Jordan Belfort is based on the confessional memoir, yeah?
Yeah.
By the reckless multimillionaire stockbroker who served nearly 2 years in prison for defrauding high-profile investors in a Wall Street corruption scandal that included banking industry, big shots, and celebrities. A few bold-faced names have been changed to avoid litigation.
Good. So Terrence Winter, he is the person who wrote the screenplay. So the screenplay is the name of when you take a book or a novel or a story or something and you turn it into a movie, that's now called the screenplay. It's not the novel, it's the screenplay. So it's the script that they're going to use to make the movie. And it is full of action, and you can see that even in the trailer. It's very lively, lots of stuff happening. And this is common that when we describe when somebody is very successful and then they become unsuccessful, something happens to them, we call that the rise and fall. So this is the rise and fall of this person, Jordan Belfort. So he's a real person, and so it's based on his confessional memoir. So in real life, he did go to jail, and while he was in jail, he wrote his memoir, which means his memories. So it's about his life during this time, and it's a confessional because he was basically confessing, telling the truth about things that he did that probably were not good, like all the drugs, all the sex, all the things that he was doing. Whenever you confess something, you're confessing something about something you weren't supposed to be doing, something that maybe was illegal or wrong in some way. So that's what he had, very reckless behavior. If somebody's reckless, they're just doing crazy stuff that can get them into trouble. And the main thing, I mean, he did a lot of crazy, weird stuff, of course, because of all the drugs and the money and whatever, but the main thing is that the way he got his money was by defrauding investors. So he was basically a crook. He was, when you defraud somebody, it's like you lie to them. So he was lying to them. And a corruption scandal is like all the news around the corruption. So it was a big scandal that when they caught him, because it was like big shot people who were included in the banking industry, but also celebrities, so like movie stars and things, were investing with him, and they lost all their money. It doesn't tell us in this article, but in real life, I think he was supposed to pay back like $140 million or something like that. So it was quite a lot of money with a lot of different people that he defrauded. All right, and then of course this is just saying that some of the names in the movie, some of the big names, like maybe some of the movie stars or something, they were changed so that they wouldn't get sued. Litigation is when somebody takes you to court and sues you to, because they don't like the way you talked about them or something. Clocking in just short of 3 hours running time, it needs a pair of scissors, another trip to the editing room, and an intermission. But if you don't have a bladder problem, The Wolf of Wall Street goes by as fast as a nap by the pool in Acapulco. The saga is long, and Mr. Scorsese seems hell-bent on filming every minute of it. But he never wastes your time doing it. Okay, Raphael.
Clocking in just short of 3 hours running time, it needs a pair of scissors, another trip to the editing room, and an intermission. But if you don't have a bladder problem, The Wolf of Wall Street goes by as fast as a nap by the pool in Acapulco. The saga is long, and Mr. Scorsese seems hell-bent on filming every minute of it. But he never wastes your time doing it.
Yeah. Okay, so clocking in, that refers to how much time when you clock in a certain amount of time. It's clocking in at, we say usually clocking in, but this is just short. So clocking in just short means under. So it's just about 3 hours, just a little bit under 3 hours running time. That's how long the movie runs. So he's saying it needs a pair of scissors, so it needs to be shorter. It needs another trip to the editing room, so maybe they could have done some better edits with the material. And an intermission. An intermission is usually what you have during a play, where you have a break after the first hour, then you have a little bathroom break, and then you come back for the second part of the play. So in a long movie like this, he's saying it could use an intermission. But if you don't have a bladder problem, so that means if you can hold yourself and you don't have to go to the bathroom, you don't have to go pee, then The Wolf of Wall Street goes by as fast as a nap by the pool in Acapulco, which is a famous resort in Mexico, which is basically slow. So it goes, well, a nap goes by pretty slowly. So it's pretty long. The saga, so it's a long story, goes on and on and on. And he seems hell-bent on. That's a phrase where if you describe somebody as being hell-bent on something, it means they're going to do it no matter what. He's just going to do it. And what he's hell-bent on is filming every single minute of this very long story. But in the end, he says he never wastes your time doing it. So apparently this critic liked it, even though it was long, even though it could have used, yes?
Repeat, hell-bent on.
Hell-bent on.
What means? I don't understand.
It means determined. Like if you are very determined to do something, you want to do something very badly, you're going to do it no matter what. You're hell-bent on it. So he really wanted to, just show us everything is what he's basically saying. He was hell-bent on filming every minute of it. He was going
Thank you.
Yeah, he was just going to show us everything. All right.
I understand.
Good. Anything else? Anybody else have any questions about any of these words, phrases? Okay, the movie opens with a naked Mr. DiCaprio snorting cocaine from the graphic spaces between a hooker's wide-open legs. Use your imagination, dude. And we're off to the races. The sprawling narrative moves around in jumping time frames narrated by Mr. DiCaprio in passages from the Belfort book that take you from his arrogant beginnings as a 22-year-old penny broker from Long Island, one of hundreds of Ivy League pinstripers anxious to conquer the world of finance, climbing out of the ashes of Black Monday to sell penny stocks at 6 cents per share in his own self-made investment brokerage firm operating out of an abandoned storefront. All right, there's a lot going on in that one. Okay, Antonio, why don't you read that one for us?
The movie opens with a naked Mr. DiCaprio snorting cocaine from the graphic space between the hawker's wide open legs. Use your imagination, dude. And we're off the race. The sprawling narrative move around in jumping time frames narrated by Mr. DiCaprio in passages from Belfort book that take you from his arrogant beginnings as a 22-year-old penny broker from Long Island, on of the Ivy League being stripped actions to conquer the world of financing, climbing out of the ashes of Black Monday to sell penny stocks at 6 cents per share in his whole self-made investment brokerage firm operating out of an abandoned storefront.
Okay. And this right here is Long Island. So this is, the S is silent. We don't say it. Long Island.
Long Island.
Island, yeah. Okay.
Island.
Yeah, right. So the movie opens, that means it starts. So here we have Mr. DiCaprio, he's naked and he's snorting cocaine. So that's what you do with cocaine. To snort something means you put it up your nose. Snorting is that action when you kind of like breathe in with your nose and the cocaine goes up inside your nose. That's what they're talking about. And the graphic, again, graphic here means when you can see things. So you can like see between this lady's legs, and he's telling you to use your imagination. In the movie, you see lots of hookers. So hookers, you guys probably know, are prostitutes. They're paying these women money. And then he says, we're off to the races. So when you say we're off to the races, it means we're beginning, we're starting. And that's how the movie opens. So already he's basically saying in this sentence that right from the very beginning, it's already like over the top crazy. Like that's a very, very provocative way to start a movie, with a very provocative scene. And it just keeps going from there, kind of thing. The sprawling narrative. So the narrative is the movie itself, the way it's told, the story. He says it's sprawling. It goes like everywhere. If something is sprawling, it's like going in every direction. So it's going every place, and there's these jumping time frames. So maybe it's going from, you know, one time period to the next time period to the next time period, and it's all being narrated or told by the main character, Mr. DiCaprio. And these are, you know, passages. So that, Antonio, for that pronunciation, it's passages, and this means like little parts of the book. So little parts from the actual book. These are the narrations that DiCaprio's saying as the story is being told. So this guy, it's amazing to think of him as a real life person. He's not a very likable character. His arrogant beginning. So when, you know, already he was a kind of a thinking he was very special kind of guy. He was arrogant. And he was only 22 years old. He was a penny broker. So a broker is somebody who sells stocks and bonds. And the penny broker means you sell them like really for pennies on the dollar. So instead of like, you know, $100, $400 per share, it's just pennies. So it's a small amounts of money. Let's see. He was one of hundreds of Ivy League pinstripers. So that means like just graduated guys in their pinstripe shirts. So shirts that have those like nice like stripes on them. And they all are ready and anxious to conquer the world of finance. So they all want to go in there and like make millions. Climbing out of the ashes of Black Monday. Black Monday was Monday when the stocks went really down. And so he created his own investment brokerage firm. So that's what he created. All right, so that's where he started. His fledgling staff is headed by Donnie Azoff, supercharged Jonah Hill, a pudgy wannabe who is so dumb he thinks jiu-jitsu is a town in Israel. Moving it up a notch, Belfort graduates to selling blue-chip stocks for 50% commissions, and a hatchet job in Forbes catapults him to superstardom. Okay, Nihan?
His fledgling staff is headed by Donnie Azoff, supercharged Jonah Hill, a pudgy wannabe who is so dumb he thinks jiu-jitsu is a town in Israel. Moving it up a notch, Belfort graduates to selling blue-chip stocks for 50% commissions, and a hatch job in Forbes catapults. What was it? Catapult?
Catapults means like when you catapult something, it means you throw it, so it throws him into, or like pushes him into superstardom.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things. His fledgling staff, so his staff is kind of like getting started. So when you look at the trailer, it's like he starts off with just a couple of guys, and then it gets bigger, and then it gets bigger, and then it gets bigger. So fledgling means like it's just a beginning. You know, it's like a beginning staff. It's headed by the actor Jonah Hill. His character is a pudgy, so he's a little bit on the chunky side, a little bit fat, but pudgy means just like a little bit. But he's a wannabe. A wannabe is somebody who wants to be. So he wants to be something, right? So he's a wannabe rich person, probably. He wants to be wealthy. Yeah. But he thinks jiu-jitsu, which is the martial arts, is a town in Israel. but moving it up a notch. So when you move something up a notch, you make it you succeed to the next level. So you move it up to the notch. So he graduates from selling the penny stocks. Now he's going to the blue chip stocks, which are the better stocks that more people buy, and he's getting 50% commissions on them. So he's getting half of what they cost the investor to purchase them. He gets that much. And then a hatchet job, I'm not exactly sure what he's referring to, but a hatchet job is usually, Forbes magazine. First of all, Forbes magazine is a very popular business magazine, so they report on businesses, entrepreneurs, stocks, things like that. So he got written up in that magazine, but I don't know if it's a good thing. Hatchet job usually means it wasn't a good thing, but a lot of times for famous people, when they're writing about you, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. At least you're being out there in the media, So, and catapults, that's the word meaning to push him or catapult. And it just means like you go from being nothing to all of a sudden you're like superstar. You're like a big person. So that's what happened to him.
To grow very fast.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Teacher, this word, superstardom is very strange for me.
Is it? Yeah. See, this is an actual catapult. So if you put something in there and you fling it, it goes very far, right?
Ah, yes.
That's a catapult.
Okay.
Yeah. So if something like getting your name in Forbes magazine catapults you, it like flings you or throws you or pushes you or whatever you want to say into like this other realm of celebrity, being super stardom. So it's a noun, and it just means he's very famous. So that's what happened to him. He became very famous.
Very famous, okay.
Exactly. Super stardom. By the year he turned 26, he made $49 million, funneling most of it up his nose. Orgies on chartered planes with 50 hookers and enough drugs to fly without gasoline. A weekend that cost $2 million plus the renovation of an entire floor of the Mirage Hotel. Marriage to a gorgeous playgirl who becomes his long-suffering wife and the mother of his child. A stunning Margot Robbie who is worth keeping an eye on for more reasons than one. With a 150-foot yacht as a wedding present. Okay, Paul. You can read that one. Paul, are you there? Raphael, you want to read that? Maybe he had to go for a minute.
Okay. By the year he turned 26, he made $49 million, funneling most of it up his nose. Orgies on chartered planes with 50 hookers and enough drugs to fly without gasoline. A weekend that cost $2 million plus the renovation of an entire floor of the Mirage Hotel. Marriage to a gorgeous playgirl who becomes his long-suffering wife and the mother of his child. A stunning Margot Robbie, who is worth keeping an eye on, for more reasons than one, with a 150-foot yacht as a wedding present.
So after only 4 years, because it said he started when he was 22, so in only 4 years he made $49 million already. And this is, of course, the reference to his cocaine use. So funneling most of it up his nose. So basically funneling, this is a funnel. I'll show you what a funnel is. This kind of apparatus here. But usually you funnel something down into something, but he's putting it up his nose. So basically that's what he means. He's wasting all of it on cocaine is what that sentence actually means. Orgies, that's when you have a lot of hookers, a lot of people having sex. And chartered planes, so private planes, and enough drugs to fly without gasoline. That just means there were so many drugs there that people were flying. So when people are on drugs and the way that they act, we call that high flying. They're kind of out of it, you know, you can't speak right, you know, that's called high flying. So that's what he's talking about. There were so much drugs, you know, so many drugs on the plane and people taking them that everybody was flying even without the gasoline, okay. A weekend that cost $2 million, yes. The renovation, when you renovate something, it means you do it over again, so you know, like fix it up. Maybe you put in new carpet, new floors, you paint the walls, that kind of thing. So he's just describing in this paragraph all the different things you see in the movie. So here's another one. He got married to a gorgeous, means beautiful, playgirl who becomes his long-suffering. So that doesn't that tells us that it wasn't a good relationship. And it's played by this person, Margot Robbie, who's stunning, which means she does a great job. And he says she is worth keeping an eye on. That means, you know, look for her again in other movies, because obviously she did a good job, but then he says for more reasons than one. So she must be pretty also. It means, you know, keep looking at her because she's beautiful as well. All right, you get it all in lush knockout set pieces that look like they were designed for Technicolor. No wonder Leo smelled a film with enough excess to make The Great Gatsby look like Tobacco Road. Consuming enough drugs to sedate all of Manhattan, Belfort and his sidekick Donnie pull out the stops, most notably in a very long sequence in which they overdose on Quaaludes and vodka in the middle of a botched attempt to smuggle $2 million out of a Swiss bank, moving from the living room to a country club and back again, plummeting down a flight of stairs, projectile vomiting, smashing up cars, and wrecking the furniture. All right. Paul, are you there yet? Do you want to read? Your microphone is muted now. If you want to read, you have to unmute the microphone. Nope. Okay. Antonio? Antonio?
Excuse me. You get it, yes?
Yeah, you get it.
You get it all in lush. No
Knocked out.
Excuse me. Knockout set pieces of look like they were designed for Technicolor. No wonder Leo smelled and filmed with enough effects to make The Great Gatsby look the Tobacco Road. Alright?
Mm-hmm.
Consuming enough drugs to sedate all of Manhattan before his sidekick Donnie put out the stops, most notable in very long sequences in which they are overdosed on Quaaludes and vodka in the middle of botched attempt to smuggle $2 million out of Swiss bank, moving from living room to country club to back again, plummeting down a flight of stairs, projectile vomiting, smashing up cars, and wrecking the furniture. Good people.
Yeah, we're crazy, yeah. So this movie, you get it all in lush. Lush means lots of, it's very extravagant. Lots of color, lots of stuff going on. Knockout set pieces, that means if something is described as knockout, it's like amazing. So the sets are really amazing, very colorful, just like they were designed for Technicolor. And he says, no wonder Leo smelled a film. That means like, you know, he found the film with enough excess to make The Great Gatsby look like Tobacco Road. I didn't see The Great Gatsby, but when I saw the trailer for this one, I thought it looked similar to The Great Gatsby with all the big scenes. No, not at all.
No. It's a musical. It's a funny one. But
The Great Gatsby?
Yeah. The common thing is DiCaprio is the wealthiest man in the country.
Yes, that's what it just seemed like in terms of like the partying and the stuff that goes on. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Throwing big parties for celebrity or something.
Yeah.
It was a funny movie.
Oh, okay. All right. So then, he's just saying this is a whole long thing of more things that we see in the movie. So his sidekick, so that's his friend who's working. Your sidekick is the person who works with you and like always goes with you everywhere. It could be your friend or your coworker or somebody like that. They pull out the stops. It means they don't stop at anything actually. So they're just doing everything: drinking, taking drugs, getting in trouble, getting sick, falling downstairs, smashing up cars. They're just going over the top, crazy. And, they're young 20-something-year-olds with a lot of money and on a lot of drugs. All you can do is observe all of this wicked cinematic exorbitance with your mouth wide open, follow all of the illegal tricks they pull to climb the ladder to success, and wait for the crash. In the meantime, you can thrill to Leo's loosest, most passionate performance to date, and applaud Mr. Hill, who matches his madness every step of the way. The movie fails to make any of its characters appealing, and I didn't much care what happened to them. But when the downfall comes at last, propelled by handsome Kyle Chandler as FBI investigator Patrick Denham, I was almost sorry to see their escapades coming to an end. Others were racing for the exit doors. Okay, Nihan.
All you can do is observe all of these wicked cinematic exorbitance with your mouth wide open, follow all the illegal tricks they pull to climb the ladder to success, and wait for the crash. In the meantime, you can thrill to Leo's loosest, most passionate performance to date, and applaud Mr. Hill, who matches his madness every step of the way. The movie fails to make any of its characters appealing, and I didn't much care what happened to them. But when the downfall comes at last, propelled by handsome Kyle Chandler as FBI investigator Patrick Denham, I was almost sorry to see their escapades coming to an end. Others were racing for the exit doors.
Yeah. So you're watching all this wicked stuff, so this crazy, wild, exorbitant, like over the top stuff, and you can't help but like sit there with your mouth wide open going, oh my gosh, how did they do this? And because they're doing a lot of illegal things as they climb the ladder to success. But of course the crash comes, so their downfall comes at some point. But in the meantime, what this critic is saying is that it's thrilling to watch Leo, because as an actor, he is very passionate in this performance, and he's very loose. That means he's very like fluid. He's not like uptight or anything. So, and Mr. Hill, he's the other actor, who matches his madness every step of the way. So Leonardo's playing this very crazy out there kind of guy, and Mr. Hill's right there able to act that same way. So they're like doing a good job together. But of course you don't really care about the characters. It says it fails to make any of them appealing. It's not like you love these people, you don't want them to get hurt. You don't really care what happens to them. But he says, when they finally get, caught, basically, you're kind of sorry to see it end. And escapades refers to the adventures. So the escapades that they're having, or the adventures that they're having, all these crazy things that they're doing, they're kind of entertaining for you if you're this critic. And then he says others were racing for the exit doors. So, after 3 hours of this, some moviegoers might be tired of it, or they don't want to watch that kind of excess or that lifestyle. So they were racing for the exit doors. They wanted to get out of the movie. They didn't like it. From Bit Parts by Matthew McConaughey, Jean Dujardin from the artist, Christine Ebersol, Rob Reiner, and Fran Lebowitz, to Ahmad Jamal Jazz and Brioni Suits. The movie wears its labels well. The sets are ravishing. The cinematography dazzles. There's so much going on that you don't blink for fear that you might miss something. Did I say over the top? I meant over the moon. Against my better judgment, there were times in The Wolf of Wall Street when I was over the moon myself. Okay, Raphael.
From Bit Parts by Matthew McConaughey, Jean Dujardin, the artist, Christine Ebersol, Rob Reiner, and Fran Lebowitz, to Ahmad Jamal Jazz and Brioni Suits. The movie wears its labels well. The sets are ravishing. The cinematography dazzles. There is so much going on that you don't blink for fear that you might miss something. Did I say over the top? I meant over the moon. Against my better judgment, there were times in The Wolf of Wall Street when I was over the moon myself.
So from bit part. So a bit part means very small part. So these, pretty famous actors have little parts of are in little parts in the movie. And he says the movie wears its labels well. It means it did a good job of presenting, these very trendy, exciting kind of, labels, these brands or whatever. The sets, so the sets are, each scene has a set, whatever that is. And he says they are ravishing. So ravishing means like beautiful, just really nice to look at. Might be the colors, it might be the actual stuff. The cinematography, so the way that it was shot as a movie, is dazzling, so it's very exciting to watch. And there's a lot going on. You don't want to blink for fear that you might miss something. So you don't even want to close your eyes and blink a little bit because you might miss something. So much is happening all the time. And he just wants to reiterate or say again that it really was over the top, but also over the moon, which means just crazy, over the top, excessive. And he even says, against my better judgment. So even though, I knew better, sometimes he found himself feeling really over the top or excited about what he was watching. So it sounds like to me like this guy, he liked the movie, for lots of reasons, even though he didn't portray it as just an amazing thing of art, meaningful. It's not a very deep movie, in terms of the character development or something like that. But it was fun. It's more like fun to watch, is what I guess this critic would say. Something that was enjoyable to watch on different levels for different reasons. So, Raphael, you're not so interested in this type of movie?
It's not my specific kind of movie. I don't know. I don't feel that interested in that movie.
But
I want to see. It's very good.
Did you watch the trailer?
Think about the budget.
Yeah.
$100 million.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, maybe this can influence me in order to see this movie. I don't know. Let's see. I wait you to see and you tell me if it's good or not.
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure if I was gonna see it in the movie theaters or not because I was thinking I didn't know if it was a movie I wanted to give my money to, But
yes,
I do want to see it. Yeah, I do want to see it. Okay, I'm gonna end this one. If you guys want to talk,
yes,
let's talk in the next hour. Okay.
Okay.
I usually go walking, but lately since talking to you, I'm trying to walk, so run a little bit, walk a little bit, run a little bit, something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's fun. It's funny because when I was younger, when I was 12, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, I used to run cross country and track. So I used to be a runner, actually, when I was very young. And I haven't been, I didn't run at all, really, as an adult. But I don't know if I really want to run a lot, but we'll see. It's, you know, if it's fun and it's good, then I'll keep doing it. So it feels
I'm
good.
glad to hear that. Just now you had to convince Niha to start doing the same.
Nihan. She's not too interested in the running, right, Nihan?
Actually, the same story as me, Lisa.
Oh,
When
really?
I was young, yeah, I'm a cyclist and professional cyclist
Wow,
in
cool.
university.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have huge muscles on my legs, but you know, when you maybe I satisfy with the sport, but Raphael is right. Yeah, it's necessary, but Raphael, you know, it's really hard.
I know.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's not
I know that feeling.
Yeah. Which is so weird because when I was younger, it was so easy to run, you know, like a mile, you know, like four laps around the track or something. So easy. Now it's like, seems so difficult.
No, Lisa, you're not old. 40s are young.
I'm not old, just my body.
I am tired about to listen.
Yeah.
I really tired about only to read. I make me tired.
Makes you tired just listening to talk
Yes.
about running. Antonio, do you run or do you do any sports?
In my bedroom.
In your bedroom?
Yeah.
On the computer?
Huh?
You work
Yeah.
with your fingers?
I imagine I really is very. I feel me tired about.
Yeah. Well, you have all those books to read, all the classics that you're reading.
Raphael,
Yeah.
you have to encourage us, both of us.
Yeah, Raphael, you have to
Support
motivate
us.
us.
Okay.
Raphael,
At weekends. Yeah, when you just start, it comes, but
The worst is
starting
starts.
is
You know,
really hard thing.
Yeah, the hardest thing is to start. Since you start, you start to feel the difference. You won't stop again. You won't stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because well, I was noticing also about running is when I first start walking, it's fine. And then I start running, and even if I just start running like about a minute or a little bit more than a minute, already my legs are hurting. But then I keep walking, and then the next time I start running again, it feels better. So like the more, for a little while there, the more I'm running, I'm feeling actually better. And then I get to the point where I'm getting tired. So then but it's kind of weird because it takes a little while to get into it. You know, it's like in the beginning you're like, ugh, why am I doing this?
The doctors suggest if you are hurting, you have to stop for 3 or 4 days. Then you need to start again.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to force your muscles.
Yes.
In the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it's hurting or just more like just sore because they're so out of shape.
Yeah.
Try it out. And so welcome to Nihan as well. Hi, Nihan.
Hi, Lisa.
How are you?
I'm fine. But when I saw the topic, much better.
Oh, good. Okay. Good. Well, I was taking your suggestion about keeping it light on the weekends. So.
Yes.
And also, it's light and it's interesting at the same time. So this movie that's coming up, it's going to come out pretty soon. So it's kind of an interesting thing, especially in the light of some of the conversations we've been having, mostly with you guys. I've been having with a lot of the same students, about money, corruption, that kind of stuff, what's happening these days with that. So we'll talk about that. We'll read and we'll talk and we'll go into the next hour also.
Okay.
So, all right. And hi there, Raphael.
Hi.
Hey, Raphael, I was thinking about you earlier because I was running around the track.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, so I've been...
See you again.
Good to see you. Okay, welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another hour of English classes here on Verbling.com. In this hour, we're going to be reading an article, and I put the article up in the Verbling chat already, so people can go there and open it up. And just let me tell you, if you have a reservation, you can use it now and join the class. And if you do not have a reservation, but you are a Verbling member, then you can join the class anytime. Each class is 1 hour long, and you can join at any time you want. If you have to leave early, that's okay too. It's pretty loose. It really depends on how you want to use this service. Also, if you are just finding Verbling, trying it for the first time, and you're trying to understand how it works, we have classes every hour. Sometimes we have 2 or 3 English classes going on at the same time, depending on the day and the time. And right now, Verbling.com is doing a special discount, so 20% off everything. So if you want to become a member, or you want to do some tutoring sessions one-on-one with one of the teachers, you can do that. So now's a good time to